Welcome back, everybody, to Paranormal New Normal presents Paranormal Primetime. That's right, another Sunday, another day to talk about our favorite brothers. And, well, what can I say about this week's episodes? Oh, I have my own opinions, but we'll get to that. I mean, one of them was definitely better than the other. I'll put it that way. But Malachi, how are you doing this week?
Good. How are you doing?
Tired as fuck, but I am always excited to talk Supernatural. That's for damn sure. So, and I look forward to watching my 2 episodes every Sunday too. It's a good way to spend Sunday mornings.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but and I believe Malachi said he wanted to recap the first episode tonight, folks. So I said, "Be my damn guest."
Okay, let's go. Season 1, Episode 13. We got Route 666. So this one I don't know, did you skip the intro? Or I guess this wasn't the intro, but we start off, we've got all these flashbacks, and then the text reads 22 years ago. Skip forward, do another flashback. Their mother mysteriously died. Now brothers, ... are on a quest to find their father. And I don't know if they did any of that in this quest, but
it's funny. That's such a CW thing to do, to put a freaking intro like that. It's such a CW thing to do, but
yeah, that's like a late '90s, early 2000s type of '80s callback.
Yeah. It's definitely a '90s thing, like one of those freaking movie trailers back in the '90s. Mm-hmm. Adam Sandler is now a pencil.
Yeah. Okay, I'm getting over being sick too, so forgive me for that. But this one starts off, black dude's driving in a car, and a big truck runs him off the road. And then the truck disappears, right? And I guarantee everybody, when we see that truck, is wondering what kind of truck it is. And it is a Dodge 1969 Power Wagon W300. But if you go off of the cab door and handles with the front clip, it could also be a 63 to a 67. And those swamp tires are not from the fucking 60s. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, that was so my first thought, Scott. Oh, what kind of car is that? No,
it's a badass truck, dude. Badass truck.
It was a nice truck. I'm not a car guy by any fucking means, so I don't pay attention to shit like that unless it's like a really exotic thing. But
so they go and meet Dean's girlfriend Cassie, and we find out that Dean had told Cassie about what they do for a living. Sam and Dean fight about this for a little bit, and then we get there, and Cassie informs them that 2 black men have been killed this week on the same stretch of road. And then we find out that Cassie said her dad had seen the truck previously. So this is what Sam and Dean got to go off of. They know there's a truck, and the dad saw it before it came after him. Cut to 3rd black man dead. And the truck. Then I thought it was crazy. So she's talking to the mayor or whatever, right? And she wants to cut or close the entire fucking road. And then she throws the race card in there. I bet you if there were white people, you'd close the road. How about put more highway patrol or something on there? It's the only road in and out of town, and this crazy bitch wants to cut the whole traveling through it.
That whole part of the storyline becomes pretty much inept at some point, because the truck isn't bound to one road, obviously. So,
but I think this is the first time Sam and Dean are pretending to be insurance agents, and they're at the live crab shop, which looks like really good fishing. I'd love to visit this pier. But the black dude tells the story. He's sitting with his white friend about the black truck, and then they go off. Dean and Cassie act like they've been dating for years. I mean, they were supposedly together for like 2 weeks. They're acting like they had this years-long relationship, and she is a horrible actress. Cut to, but where are we going here? Oh yeah, yep. This might be the first sex scene in Supernatural, and it had horrible music, and it was super long. Super long. Kind of weird.
I don't know. I thought Cassie was hot as shit, so I enjoyed the sex scene. But
okay, then after the sex scene, the truck chases and runs down the white dude. So now we know the truck's not specifically racist. Yeah, it runs down the mayor. And, I mean, this was after the mayor tells Cassie when she accuses him of being a racist, ask your mother if you think I'm racist. We'll find out about that in a little bit. And then it's snowing during this cop scene. I was wondering if that was the first time we've seen snow so far. But
maybe.
And they've got more gay music during the cop scene there. And then we go more fishing while Sam's on the phone. What the hell? Oh yeah. There's a good fishing in the background when Sam's talking to Dean on the phone. I wrote that down. But we find out that this guy Sirius Dorian went missing on April 63. And apparently the Dorians owned the whole town. They were like the OGs of this town. And the mayor has just knocked down the Dorians' house on the 3rd, and the first killing happened the day after. So, cut to the truck being outside Dean's girlfriend's house and her trying to close the blinds and shit. And I mean, their house is raised. I didn't see any way this truck was getting up into the house, but she's scared, calls Dean. Then they're sitting down with the girlfriend's mom, Sam and Dean, and they tell the story about the dad. And I guess the mom dated Cyrus, this ghost guy. And Cyrus, they had to make the white dude look super bad. Not only was he doing these hit and run things, but he burnt down a church filled with 30 children in the church.
Epic.
Now we really hate Cyrus.
Well, what kind of name is Cyrus anyway? So fuck.
And then, he's beating the crap out of Martin, the Dean's girlfriend's dad, and Martin pulls a quick one on him, switches the corners, and then beats Cyrus to death. His friends end up dragging Cyrus and the truck and dumping it in a lake. I got another note in here. This lady was a horrible actress. When they burn the body, huh?
She was a really bad actress.
Yeah, they were pulling from the bottom of the barrel on this one. When they try to burn the body, I was wondering why they didn't just leave him in the front seat of the car, but they take his body and put it on the back of the pickup.
Because anyway, the front seat of the car was probably fucking drenched in water. It wouldn't light for shit.
Well, I don't know. I think like if they got all the gas and everything on there, I think if he was in there, the heat might ovenify. It might be better to burn him in there. But truck shows up and Dean takes a chance. Now we're going on a chase scene with the truck, which there's no way that truck is fucking outrunning Dean's baby, but it does. It starts bumping him, and Sam leads him 0.7 of a mile down a road and tells Dean to trust him. And the car comes, and disappears right in front of Dean, and it's because it was the church he burnt down with the 30 kids in it. And this is the first time we find out that ghosts can't cross hollowed ground. So, and there was a second snow scene.
Yeah, I wrote that down for first as well, but anybody who is into the supernatural paranormal at all definitely knows that already. But
yeah,
nothing evil can touch hollow ground. So it's, if you haven't seen Hocus Pocus by now, folks, Jesus. But
and then we finish off at the fishing pier again.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a sign at the fishing pier that said fresh scallops. I was like, "Ooh, that sounds good right now." But but yeah, I don't know. I saw the preview. I saw the description for this episode after we watched the last two, and I was kind of like not looking forward to this one to begin with. Cause I'm like, I didn't remember it all, but just the premise sounded pretty freaking stupid to me. And yeah, I wasn't disappointed. It was pretty stupid. But
I didn't remember it either. Kind of crazy.
Well, a lot. Any of the episodes that don't really stand out in my head just means they weren't that amazing episodes. I mean,
yeah,
I didn't remember that freaking one about that like third episode about the boy that drowned in the lake either. Like that's already they're mundane episodes that don't really do much. I mean, yeah, this is a monster of the week episode kind of thing, but if you even can call it that, I mean, it's more just a Dean's past episode. But
yeah. Well, let's get into the writers here. So on this one, we've got Eugene Ross Lemming and Brad Buckner were the writers of this one. What would you rate it?
Oh God, this episode is. I'll give it 2 out of 5 stars just for Cassie.
I'm gonna give it 2.5 out of 5. But now we know maybe Eugene and Brad aren't the greatest writers
But we also know that Dean likes a little bit of the chocolate pudding here and there. So
yeah.
But
we'll meet more of Dean's old girlfriends.
Oh God, yeah. But yeah, I mean, the whole truck showing up outside the house scene kind of made me laugh because I'm like, one, and you kept doing this in your recap. Like, it's a ghost truck. Normal rules do not apply to this truck because it's a ghost truck. It can go wherever speeds it fucking wants to go. Its engine's not going to die. It's a fucking ghost. And if it wanted to get into the house, guess what? It's going to find a way to levitate a little bit and go right through the window.
That was a raised house. The hallways are yay big. That lady wasn't getting touched. I was wondering why she didn't go up to the second story.
I mean,
she's just running around closing the blinds.
Yeah, I mean, this whole episode was kind of a joke. I mean, it's the typical storyline of racist crimes in the past coming back to haunt the current is a theme in a lot of shows like this. But so I mean, it was a good theme overall, but I don't know. It was more of you could have taken out the ghost truck and just made it like a freaking Murder She Wrote type thing.
Yeah. Well, I thought the truck honestly was the coolest part of the whole episode. I think one of the biggest reasons, besides like they really tried to make this about like white people were just horrible 100 years ago type of a situation, or 50 years ago type of a situation, which like over dramatized quite a bit. But then the Dean's girlfriend Cassie, she was like a horrible actress. They're trying to make her like they were this married couple when they knew each other for 2 weeks.
Apparently, they got very close in those 2 weeks, and apparently Dean loved her. Apparently, Dean loved her enough to tell her the truth about his family, even though at the end of it, she didn't believe a fucking word he said to begin with.
Yeah. And then for her to think that it was a ghost, like.
Oh, the fact that she remembered him and was like, "Oh, I should call Dean and see." The fact that she still has his number after all that fucking time too.
And Dean hasn't changed his number. A lot of plot holes in this story.
Especially because we find out eventually they change their numbers constantly.
Yeah.
But don't know. I thought it was pretty cool when the truck hit the hollow ground and just like disappeared. Like it was kind of like a catch-all ending, but it was just like when after it happens and Dean's like, I'm gonna kill him. Like it's just
yeah. He's like, it might work.
I mean, that was just the one redeeming part of the episode. And when they're like, well, how do you burn a truck? Pretty fucking easily, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
People have been torching cars for fucking 100 years at this point, so it's pretty fucking easy. But I don't know. I just this episode I was just kind of waiting for it to get over because I wasn't sure about the next one either. But then I remembered what episode it was, which I started watching, and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, the next one ties in the story arc.
Oh, in a huge fucking beginning way. But I will recap this one for you folks, because the next episode was called episode 14, Nightmare. And basically, it starts off with a man pulling into his garage, most likely getting home from work, and when he pulls into the garage door mysteriously shuts behind him. His car, he can't turn his car turns back on, even though he just shut it off. And all the doors lock in his car. And of course, it's an old school 90s car, so the locks are all those old silver ones that are not automatic. They just saw fucking lock. You have to like raise them each or push them down. And the man is basically killed by carbon monoxide. And you find out a second later that this is all a nightmare Sam's having. And Sam jolts out of bed and wakes up Dean, and he's like, we gotta go. And they drive all the way to, I think it was Michigan or Minnesota.
I write this down. Yes, Seagull, Michigan.
Michigan. Okay, I knew it started with MI, but yeah, they drive all the way there to find out they're about a half hour too late, probably, and the guy's dead. So the next day, well, after they ask some questions of the people watching the crime scene, the next day they go to the wake at the guy's house, dressed as priest in another first disguise for them, and which I fucking love that they dress as priests. But they go to the guy's wake to find out more about him. It seems like he's your typical American guy. He's got a piss hand of a fucking brother, and his son's a little brat piece of shit. But we come to find out that Sam and Dean they go through the house with some very, very high-tech equipment that you didn't think they had. And,
yeah. I noted that one down. It's like a bigger than a Raspberry Pi, but it got like a little 7-inch monitor and 2 thermal lasers on it. Pretty cool tech there.
It is pretty cool tech, and I mean, I'm like, where the fuck they get this from when they're freaking using like put together shit last time? That's nowhere near this is advanced. Yeah. But they find nothing in the house of any kind of supernatural entity or paranormal being, so they're kind of mystified, and they go to their hotel, and Sam has another nightmare. This time about the brother of the original murder victim that they just met, and they rush over to his apartment, and they catch him outside his apartment, but he still thinks they're the priest, and he's like, I'm not interested, and he runs into his apartment building, locking the door behind him, and they run up the fire escape in the back of the house to try to get there in time, but they basically get there in time to see a window guillotine. So it's another, and I do love how Dean was like, takes the handkerchiefs out of his fucking pocket. He's like, wipe your fingerprints. We don't need the cops coming after us. But it's basically at that point, it becomes they're starting to think like, well, if it's not the father, what's going on with the family? Is the family cursed, or what's going on? So they decide to go talk to the son again, and it feels like the son mentioned something about their old house they used to live in. Or actually, Sam asked him a question about the old house they used to live in, And his reaction kind of gets Sam and Dean thinking, so they go back to the old neighborhood they used to live in, and they find out that, sadly, the son was beaten by his father and his uncle on a regular basis, and that the stepmother did nothing to stop it. So...
Oh, note. I got a note. The stepmother is actually the aunt from the old 90s Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Was it?
Fun fact. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, okay, maybe.
Yeah, like the smart aunt. Not the funny aunt,
yeah,
but the smart aunt.
Not, okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, that's as soon as you said that, that's what I was thinking of. I'm like, oh yeah. And I was trying to look up the son because I feel like the son's a big actor in the '90s on TV too. But I can't think of who he would be.
Yeah, he reminds me of like Seth.
Seth Green. Seth Green. Yep.
Yeah, I know I've seen him from something too. I don't remember what it is.
But after they find this out, Sam gets a vision while in the old neighborhood still of the son murdering the stepmom, and you finally get to see his telekinetic abilities in action, which I gotta say that knife scene was pretty fucking cool. But
yeah,
I like the CGI work of that knife scene and the way it fucking he just stabbed her through the fucking face with it. That's badass. But so they rush back to the house, and they're able to get there right before it all happens, and it basically turns into a hostage situation where Dean stupidly brings a gun in, and the son sees it and gets it out of his possession and holds them all at gunpoint and tells Sam and Sam convinces the boy to let the son to let mom and Dean go upstairs so they could talk. And Sam keeps telling him I am going through the same thing you are, blah blah blah. It was a very emotional thing, very CW type scene for a minute there, but then the caveat drops. Oh, well, my father always said that my mother burned on my ceiling when I was a baby, and then he always used to take it out on me, and that's when you realize, wait a minute, there's something more going on here than just this. This isn't some just like cop show type that gets been to this whole episode. Here is the supernatural element to everything. And folks, I'm not going to ruin things. I'm not going to bring spoilers in this early, but this leads to big things in the next season or two. But there's a huge storyline starting out this episode. But Sam calms the son down, but after a while, he tries to stop him from going upstairs, and he gets locked into a closet with a heavy-ass dresser in front of it. And that's when we first get to see Sam's real telekinetic abilities when he's under stress, because he gets a vision of watching Dean get shot in the head, and he pushes the dresser away from the door so he can get out and get upstairs. And he gets up there right before anything happens, and basically, after a lot of arguing back and forth, the son ends up committing suicide with a gun just to... He sees it as the only way to stop it. And that's basically where it ends. The stepmom ends up covering for Sam and Dean, making up excuses to the cops as to why they're there, and lies basically about everything that happened. And Sam and Dean get to leave, leaving us with a bigger mystery for upcoming episodes.
Yep.
And this episode was very well done. I mean, at first it seemed almost like a murder mystery. I forgot about the twist. I forgot about the twist at the end. It seems just like another cop show, another Law and Order or whatever type thing. But and I love the idea that it's premonitions. I will say that because as someone who had small premonitions when he was a kid, they are a very true thing. Everybody in the supernatural, spiritual field I've talked to on my show had premonitions at some point in their life before they awoke. It's a sign usually that there's more to you than meets the eye. Do you have something?
Yeah, this was a first for people's heads getting cut off with a window.
I don't know if that happens again, but yes. I guess it would be. But
Yeah, this ties in big time. Like this, I didn't really enjoy the episode. Like it's just not my cup of tea. I'm into more of the paranormal stuff.
I mean, I am too, but
I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5 though, just because it is such a huge part of the story, and they did a good job tying it in. I'm gonna look through my notes while Jeremy's gone. What do we got here? I can't say that because that would be spoilers. Sam sees kid.
oh, you couldn't hear me?
Yep. No.
Damn, I gotta get a better microphone. All I do is step outside, take a fucking piss, and you can't even hear me like 2 feet at the door. But no, what I was saying is I give it a 4 out of 5 stars for what it starts off, and for the CGI knife scene was pretty badass.
Yeah, they did a great job in the storytelling, and the CGI was really good. The whole gun floating when they shot Dean, that looked pretty clean.
I mean, it's the first of them dressing up as priests as a disguise. Like, why would you both be priests? That looks so unreal. Like, there wouldn't be just two priests happening to show up to a wake together for a family they didn't know. Like, no, one of you should have been a priest, and one of you should have just been like a fucking bishop or something. But
and Dean was creepy about it again. Like he's just still got that. It can't be smooth when he's trying to question people.
and I mean the high tech gadgetry they have all of a sudden was like, I was just like, what the fuck? Did they like get an upgrade in the last between the 2 episodes? Like, what the hell?
Yeah, 2 episodes ago, he was using his little Walkman that he turned into an EMF, and now he's got straight fucking thermal lasers. And I mean, a 7-inch Raspberry Pi monitor back then, that would have been big money.
Yeah,
that would not have been cheap. And I mean, they didn't have pies back then, but he's got some sort of computer board it's hooked to, and I guarantee that wouldn't be cheap. But yeah, this one was written by Sierra Gamble and Raleigh Tucker. So look forward to them again.
I mean, and the fact that the kid's mom died the same way that Mary did was kind of like was a cool thing. And like Sam's face when he's describing what happened, but you don't really get to hear Sam tell Dean about it. That's the thing I wanted to see.
Yeah, like they keep a lot of secrets from each other. That's a plot line that's always been there, though.
I mean, well, I feel like there's a lot of stuff you're supposed to assume they do off camera. But
yeah,
I'm sure at some point, like, I'm sure as they're driving away in this one, Sam be like, "So yeah, his mom died this way too." And
did that happen?
No,
I can't remember.
They didn't show them driving away. Even it just showed the last scene was the mom talking to the cops.
Okay. Did we have music in the last scene? Because the one before we ended with country music. Okay.
No.
So that's dying away. That's like the second episode without music at the end.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't a thing always at the beginning for music at the end of episodes. They usually just had that cold like end like dun dun like.
Yeah, later on it's just going to be them like crying with each other at the end of every episode.
Some episodes for good reason, but I will say for those in the know, this begins a huge plot line for the first and I believe part of the second season. So
isn't this like pretty much all of season 3? Isn't that like what we're dealing with Sam is like all of season 3, isn't it?
It's been so long.
Yeah.
I don't remember the chronological order of shit like in the beginning back then, but it's a huge storyline, and I don't think I mean, when you first watch the show, you don't even realize how big it is unless you've already seen the show. So it's one of those things that you're not going to catch on right away that it's something big, but it's, I don't know, it's just a interesting thing. But I enjoyed this episode immensely, though. Even though it was kind of a murder mystery type thing, I mean, the head guillotine, like some vicious ways to fucking die.
Yeah, but, no, the gore was good.
And the fact that the boy came up all this by himself, and like he's just, and like you knew something was going on when you see like the uncle with there's something going back and forth like in the background when he's in the kitchen. So
yeah. Well, I'm hoping next week we get at least one creature feature. I mean, I'm hankering for another Scarecrow episode.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna. Well, definitely not a Scarecrow. I'll tell you that much right now. But
yeah.
Well, we are getting. Oh, yeah, okay. There's a couple paranormal things in the next episode, so not exactly fully paranormal, but there's some interesting things coming up. So it'll be an interesting episode or two to watch. That's for damn sure. But
well, let's do it next week.
That's right, folks. We'll see you next week. Until then, check out past episodes on Winchester Wednesdays as always. But we will see you next
Wednesdays. Let's go.
Yes. Started marketing is that. But have a good one, folks.
Take it easy, everybody.